All right, the recording has been started and preview full screen. All right, sorry for the hassle. Okay, so let's start with the review. Someone gonna help me out, okay? I'm gonna pretend that I don't know this. If I have a whole number, say 3/5, I want to times by 2, what do I do? Someone tell me. Wenjin, what do I do? What do I do here? You can't see, you gotta sit up close. That's why you have a wheel on your chair. Emily, can you tell me, what should I do? Make it what? That 2 should be changed to what? What did I tell you? 2/1, thank you. And this original is still 3/5. Multiply the top, multiply the bottom, you have 6/5, correct? And then since this is improper, change this to 1 and 1/5, right? You have 1 left over. Once you make a whole piece size, you have 1 slice, okay? What if this case I ask you to divide? 3/5 divide by 2. If I ask you to do that, what do you do? What do I do here? Kelly? You multiply 5 and 2, all right. So what we're saying is change that divide by 2 times that. You see here is 2/1, here it will be 1/2. Okay, so that 2 goes to the bottom. That becomes multiplication. All right, and we still have 3/5 again times the top times the bottom. We have 3 and 10, and that's our final answer. Always box your final answer for me, okay? All right, so that is a review from last time. Just quickly go over. Today, we actually learned quite a bit of this, but first of all, you have to know what are the equivalent fractions. So this is the prerequisite part. What are the equivalent fractions? What I'm saying is that's 1/2, which is equivalent to, is the same pizza, right? 2 part of 4, which is equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 4 part of 8, so on and so forth. I can keep on going. So this would be what? This is times 2 times, I don't know, it could also be 3/6. It could be also, 10/20, so on and so forth. You have a lot of possibilities. It's the same pizza, but you have to recognize that these fractions are different. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, if your answer were to be 10/20, that wouldn't be your final answer that you give to me, right? I would not accept something that is not reduced. You have to reduce that. So recognize that top and bottom could be divided by 10, going to once at the top, going to twice at the bottom. This should give you 1/2 as answer. Same with if you start with 3/6 as your final answer, you got to reduce it. Notice that you can divide top and bottom number both by 3. Going to once on the top, going to twice at the bottom, the final answer is still 1/2. Okay, so all these are different representations of 1/2. It's like a girl one day, put on a red dress and a black dress and a, fancy, makeup. It's still the same girl, all right? So you have to recognize that. It's just different way of showing the same number, okay? So knowing that, let's zoom in to our today's lesson. 1B would be multiply proper fractions. Proper fractions. What are proper fractions? Proper fractions are a fraction where the top number or the numerator is larger. Saying we have 3/5, that would be proper. So this will be proper. Well, 5/3, this will be improper. improper, meaning that if you get 5/3, hello guys in the background, can I get you to stop chatting? Thank you. If you have 5/3 as your final answer, I would not accept that as final answer. You have to take 5 divided by 3, going into ones, and you have 2 left. Stop there. 1 and 3/2. 2/3. Okay, so always go this way. 1 and 2/3. 1 and 2/3. All right, don't go into the decimals if the answer you're looking for is mixed number. Anyways, so that would be a proper fraction. If I take another proper fraction and multiply them together, I'm going to show you how it looks on the graph and then how to do it mechanically. All right, so how we do it on a graph, say for instance, 1/2 times by 3/4. Okay, so as graph, this is how it looks like. So I'm going to say it's 1/2 over to this side. Okay, it's 1/2 of the entire thing, so I get 1/2 to start with. Make sense? So this half of this rectangle represents half of the rectangle. 3/4 though means that I'm gonna take what I have that is right here and chop into 4 parts and take 3. Okay, 3/4 means I'm gonna chop everything into 4 parts. 4 parts and take 3. Right, so that should be my final answer. Should be 3 parts over 8 parts. 3 parts over 8 parts. Okay, so from the picture we can see how it works. However, if I would say, hey, what is 35/70 times by 1/2? You're not gonna draw a picture of 70 squares. Okay, it's gonna take years, ages. Okay, so you have to recognize mechanically how you're gonna do this, which we have done. It's to take the top numbers, multiply together. 1 times 3 give you 3, 2 times 4 give you 8. Multiply them out, and that is the end of the story. And unless this is an improper fraction, you have to reduce that. Otherwise, that's your answer. Okay, or if this is a not reduced, then you have to reduce it down to the simplest form of it. All right. So again, let's do a couple more. This is directly from your example, right? Saying if you have 3/8 times 2/3. Okay, this is one of the examples. So in this case, of course, you can make a picture. Some of the questions actually ask you to make a picture. Please do, okay? You know what to do. But mechanically what you do is to simply multiply them out. Now, you may have the urge just to write down, 3, 2 will be 6, 8, 3 is what? 24, if you know your multiplication table well. If you don't know, please recite them every time before your meal. Okay, so at least you recite 3 times together with your prayer to your higher being, okay, whoever you believe. Anyways, but in this case, I am just gonna write it as 3 times 2 and 8 times 3. No rush in find out what they are, because in this case, I realized that, hey, that 3 and that 3 is the same, okay? I can divide top and bottom by 3, and both of them go into ones. And 2 and 8, both of this could be divisible by 2, that go into ones, that can go into 4 times. And if I multiply the rest of the numbers, I have 1/4. Okay, I'm gonna take you to the other route. If I were to multiply them out, I'll have 24, and on the top I'll have 6. All right. In that case, this is not my final answer. I have to find out what's my final answer. So I noticed that both 6 and 24 are divisible by 2. By the way, do you know the divisibility rule? What makes a number divisible by 2? Raise your hand if you know. Give us a review. Jerry? If they're even, okay? Meaning that if this ones number is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, if this number that represent how many ones you have is even number, okay, then that number is divisible by 2. So that's a 4, that's a 6, both of them divisible by 2. And therefore, I know this is going to give me 3 and 12, okay? And then I know 2 no longer works because 3 is not even. However, what is the divisibility rule for 3? How do I know that, 3 goes into 12? Anyone knows the rule? Anyone knows the rule? Don't remember? None of you? Really? Kevin, what is the divisibility rule for me to tell if the number 1, 2, 5, 1 is divisible by 3? How do I know?
So you add 1, 2, 5.
Add 4 numbers. So you go 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1. In this case is what?
9.
It's 9. It's 9 divisible by 3. If that's the case, this number is also divisible by 3. Okay? Just in case you don't remember, 1 plus 2 is 3, therefore this number is divisible by 3 as well. 3 goes into top ones, goes into the bottom 4 times. 1 over 4 is your answer. They are both the same. Which way you find it easier? I would say the top one. Okay, don't multiply out because you need to reduce anyways. Good? Good? Okay, move on to the next question. Just gonna go through a couple of these questions. Oh, what if you have 3 numbers multiplied together? It's the same thing. 3 over 4 times 3 over 4 times 2 over 9. In this case, I could go ahead and times all of the number out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to write 3 times 3 times 2. Please do this as well, okay? 4 times 4 times 9. Don't in a hurry to find out what they are because we need to reduce them. All right. 3. Any numbers below here is divisible by 3. Is that divisible by 3? Yeah? Yes? Caspian? Yeah. Okay. So 3 is divisible by 3, goes into it once. And then I can fit 3 3's in 9, and therefore I have 3 left. 9 divided by 3 give me 3. And, oh, there's another 3 there. 3 divided by 3, 1 and 1. Okay, eliminated. 2 can reduce with one of these 4. 2 divided by 1 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. I got all ones on the top. So 1 times 1 times 1. Don't add them. It's times 1. 4 times 2 times 1 is 8. And that number, if this part is already reduced, your answer will be reduced already. Okay? Unless you forgot to reduce some of this number, and that may not be reduced, right? Double check that. In your question, in your assignment, it also asks you to estimate. I don't know why do you need to estimate, but yeah, if you need to estimate, why not? If you have 3 over 8 times 2 over 3. I think we can do this easily, but if the book is asking to estimate, what I suggest you to do is you're going to change each of this number into 0, half, or 1. Okay, you're going to change into one of these numbers just for estimation. This is not to look for what the actual number is. So whatever that is closest to. So I would say 3 over 8 is probably close to half. 2 over 3, that's more than half. Let's change it 1. So I could, estimate it's probably about half. Times them together. Okay. Yeah, I think in this case it's going to be far away from the truth. So if I move this number up, maybe I move this number down. I don't know. So this number is more than that number. So if I move that up to a half, maybe I should move this one down to half. Okay. So in that case, I could estimate it more properly as a quarter. If I actually solve this out, it's going to be 3 times 2 on the top a times 3 on the bottom, and therefore 3 divided by 3, reduce with 3, divide both of them by 3, I have 1 over 1. Reduce 2 over a, I will have 1 over 4, and it's 1 over 4. In this case, it will work out nicely. Okay. Some of the cases may not be like that, right? So again, if you need to estimate, just change them to the closer number, either 0 or half or 1. And if you make one number larger, you make the other number smaller. That's it. Okay. Other questions that ask you to estimate, I'll do both. 3 over 7 times 1 over 6. So in this case, I can see 1 over 6 is probably closer to 0. 3 over 7, that's kind of half. If I multiply the two, I'll get 0. Okay. The answer is not going to be nothing, but it's going to be closer to 0. If I were to multiply this out, how do I do it? 3 times 1, 7 times 6. Please don't omit this middle step. Okay, don't do it in your head. Yes. Washroom. Be done in 1 minute. Can you? Okay. That would be 1 over 2, and it will be 1 over 14, which is a very small number, right? So that's closer to 0. Some of your questions asking you to fill in blank, but I will leave that to you. I will just do one of the word questions. How's that? Okay, here's the word question. It says, Marius spent 1/3 of his time sleeping. While he sleeps, he dreams for 1/4 of those time. What's the fraction of his time that he is dreaming for how many hours that he is dreaming for? Right, so we know that he has 24 hours a day, and he spends 1/3 of his time sleeping, and then for among those 1/3, 1/4 of those he enjoys dreaming. Okay, whenever you have a word question, please draw something out. Either you are forming a formula, or you are drawing like a bar, 24, and then you got 1/3 of which, and then 1/4 of which, whatever helps. Okay, whatever helps. So you can visually recognize what the question is about. But anyways, in this case, for part A, I need to multiply the fraction, so I know what's the fraction of his total time. And for B, how many hours in a day, and then I multiply everything together. All right, so let's do A first. 1/3 and 1/4, multiply the top, multiply the bottom. In this case, I don't need to write 3 times 4 because there's nothing to reduce to, right? I can just say 12. 1 over 12 of his day, he enjoys dreaming. I don't think anyone have control over what he dreams. It would be really cool. I think technology is trying to enable us that. It's called metaverse. Anyways, 24 hours times 1 over 12. Again, what do you do here? If you have a whole number, this is kind of review from last lesson. Turn it into 24 over 1 times by 1 over 12. If you to write it as a single fraction, you have 24 over 12. And if you realize that, hey, 24 is exactly twice of 12. Then you divide that into top and bottom, and you have 2. That means he spent 2 hours sleeping. So please write it out as answer. Marius spent 2 hours dreaming. And for the top one, your answer would be 1/12 of his day. Okay, and also box your answer. Okay, again, if you have word question, you gotta respond with a sentence. Okay, so I'll end my lesson here. Oh, was there any question from last 6.1, 6.2 that we should go over? 3, 2, 1. Okay, no. All right, so again, for next time.